We are going to go to our next guest. He is going to join us here in just a few seconds. I have got to figure out where in the world is Carmen Sandiego. That's what I want to know. I want to know where in the world is Carmen Sandiego. We are going to see if we can get our next guest in here. And he will join us here in just a few seconds, hopefully. Maybe. There he is. There he is.
What's up, man?
What's going on, sir? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good, actually. We have got a great guest joining us. We're going to make some adjustments here so everybody on the TV side can see him. And because nobody cares about me, they want to see him. We have got a great guest with us today. He joins us live here on our big broadcast. Of course, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship is coming to, of all places, Wichita, Kansas.
Kansas.
The air capital. And although nobody calls it the air capital anymore, I'm just old. And we have got a great guest with us today. He is going to be fighting on this extraordinary show. By the way, if you want to get tickets, you can hit up the Hartman Arena. That is your best spot to get tickets to this very, very, very big show. So tell me a little bit about getting into bare knuckle. Because that's a tough sport, baby.
Yeah. We take the gloves off, man. Now, they had tryouts in Florida. I've been doing combat sports for a long time. So I just wanted to touch it. I wanted to get a taste. So, yeah, I seen there were tryouts all over. I think there was one in Phoenix, but then I seen one in Florida. So I was like, all right, I'll make the trip. And made the trip. I did tryouts, and then I would do my first fight in July, this July.
Oh wow!
And then, yeah, and, I liked it. I got a taste of it. It wasn't, it was all right, cool. We took the gloves off, and this is what it is. Yeah, man. It's brutal, but super fun. Still, I still enjoyed it.
I'll tell you, a lot of people. I get around these. I feel with bare knuckle when I like I'll go to the gym and talk to. I work out 3 times a week with this old school boxing coach. He was around like Andrew Galata and all these guys. He freaking hates bare knuckle. He's like, oh, it's not a sport, blah blah, all this stuff, and I get around him, and it reminds me of when the UFC started. And everybody's like, that's not a sport.
Yep.
And I just find it so strange that people are still getting used to bare knuckle. And I'm like, they were doing bare knuckle before any of this other stuff.
Right. I think that's how fighting started, right? I think, but when UFC started with no gloves. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's definitely, I can see where it's reckless for some people. And when I was doing MMA, my boxing coaches were the same way about MMA. They hated MMA. All my boxing coaches, they hate MMA. But, that's just how the times go, what I mean? Like, boxing is such a beautiful science, though, and I never would disrespect boxing because it's such an old sport. It's what makes combat sports that we have today so entertaining. So I'll never disrespect the boxing community, but just something about old school boxing coaches in different sports, they hate them. Different combat sports. They don't like it. It's like it's too brutal. It's nasty. It's gross. And people have died in boxing, and people have died in doing a lot of things. So
yeah,
it's a lot of things are dangerous, and we still do it. And bare knuckle. I think it's a beautiful sport. I mean, it's really fast paced, and the the entertainment that bare knuckle brings at every show. That's the reason why it's growing so much. So.
How do you like fighting in their squared circle or their circle squared, however you want to refer to it, as compared to fighting in a standard boxing ring or a cage?
It just keeps the pace going. There's no corner to kind of lay on, and it definitely you definitely have to really work. It's definitely you definitely will have a hard time, I guess, like pointing out where you're at in the ring because you're in a circle, so there's no corners. You know what I mean? But I've kickboxed in a circle ring like that before, so I have experience in a circle ring. I had prior circle ring experience before that. So
yeah, it's just it's just so. I love the BKFC ring. I think that cuts down a lot of this nonsense.
Yeah, it cuts off. It does cut off a lot of the stagness. Yeah, I mean, like because it's you really will lose where you're at. Yeah, I mean, because now you're moving in circles, your opponent's moving in circles, and the whole ring is a circle. So, so if that makes any sense. So it's definitely different. But I enjoy the bare knuckle ring also. I definitely like it
because it is definitely an equalizer, I guess. Because a lot of these other combat sports, they've because even with the cage, I for MMA, people are like, oh, you could do this, you could do that, and it's like, no, you grab that fence, you can do all sorts of horse shit, and I'm like, with this, you're not leaning on nothing, you're stuck in there, you're fighting, you're forced to fight somebody.
You're forced to fight. You're forced to fight because, like I said, everything's going in circles. You're going in circles. Your opponent's going in circles, and the ring's a circle. So you guys are all. They ain't no neutralizing anymore, And no, it's. I like it. I like fighting in the circles. It's not bad at all.
So you are fighting Isaac Doolittle on this show.
Yes, sir.
Sir, who walked in behind me? So Isaac Doolittle, I have sparred with Isaac Doolittle a few times. I've seen him fight numerous times. Are you planning on being one of these guys who's just going to go out there and buzzsaw or try to buzzsaw, or are you going to be a little bit more mindful? Because I think that's the problem that I've seen most of these guys have with Doolittle is they go out there and they're like, I'm just going to run the guy over. And it's like, no. What are you doing this for?
No, Mr. Doolittle, I'm not someone who does too much research on my opponents. I know he's from Kansas. I know he's got a beard. And
that's awesome. I know he's from Kansas and he's got a beard.
I just go in there with mutual respect, expect the unexpected every time I go in there. I do respect him. I respect every single opponent that I go into the ring with. I know that's not, we're in the Jerry Springer area where we need to have issues.
Everybody needs to act
we need
like
to have personal issues and talk about each other's mamas. But Mr. Doolittle, I respect him for taking me on. I respect every single fighter that jumps into a bare knuckle ring. I mean, we're taking the gloves off for God's sake. So I mean, what I expect, I expect nothing. I expect that he will come in and want to bang. I'm going to go in and I'm going to want to bang, and if he, whatever he tries to do, I'm going to try to neutralize it. So that's I'm just going there with a responsibility to have a good show, and to win. I mean, that's of course come in there and win, but just go in there and have a good show, and try to get this W, and I'm going to respect everything he's got because we don't wear gloves, so
Yeah.
any punch can fuck with me.
Oh
But
yeah, big time,
you
big
know,
time.
but I know that every punch I got can fuck with him. So
Big time.
so let's I mean, like we'll go in there. We're going to be in his hometown. You know what I mean, and I'm in Michigan, so we Barry Sanders, baby. You know what I mean, so. Well, Barry Sanders is from Wichita, so
Yep.
so I'm gonna try to come in with some Lions heat. Not this season Lions, but maybe some future Lions. But like I said, I respect all my opponents. I want to respect Doolittle, and wherever he comes, I want to try to neutralize.
Now you are also, besides the bare knuckle combat stuff, you're a big comic book mark.
I am.
You got the Venom shirt on.
Oh man, they called me out. Yes, you know it. I love
so, what do you think of just the fact that the whole world is in love with these comic book movies now, and everybody and their brother wants to get in them? I remember back when they had, Dolph Lundgren was Punisher, and people are like, he's doing these comic book movies. It's his last run. And now you got guys like Robert Downey Jr. and all these guys are like, sign me up.
Sign me up and give me one of the Marvel films. Everyone's trying to get on that Marvel train, baby. You know what? I'm just happy, man. I'm happy. I'm going to have comic book relationships for the rest of my life at this rate, because Disney's taking all the money. I've enjoyed. I've always enjoyed comic books my whole entire life. I was a big Batman fan. I collect a lot of Spider-Man stuff when I was younger, and no, this is a great time. I'm a big Marvel fan. I'm really pushing for that Daredevil show because I really love the Daredevil series on Netflix. Season 2 is my favorite show. I really do. I really love that season, and we just gotta. I mean, like I said, we're in a great time for entertainment, man. We got the new Spider-Man movie coming out, and I'm just, I love my comic book stuff, man. Like like I said, it's been my whole life. I've always wanted to be a superhero. So, for me to grow up to be J. Action Jackson, 12-year-old Jay is super, super happy about that.
Well, I'll tell you, you have got just talking to you here. You've got quite the voice as well. You could do voiceovers.
Oh man, I wish.
You're not going to be like Big E doing the Fury Wilder voiceover, but you've got a voice. You've got a voice to do voiceovers, man.
Don't get me up, man. I was in Thailand one time, and I was one of my buddy Ivan. He was a Russian guy, and he does radio talk, but he has how Russians speak, and he was like, "You have a radio voice too," and I'm like, "Oh man, like I wish." What I mean? Like, do a podcast or something. But yeah, I mean, like I said, like I said, I'm a big kid. I'm 32 years old. I love my cartoons. I love my Marvel stuff. And yeah, I mean, if I get the call to do something like that, I'll be like, hell yeah. That'd be awesome.
So you have done. I just find this amazing about you is you've literally had the full circle as far as like combat sports. You're doing bare knuckle. You did MMA. You were a pro wrestler at one point.
Yeah.
You're one of the guys that understands that all this is entertainment. Whether the legitimate fighting guys want to admit it or not, they got their start from pro wrestling.
Facts. I don't care what it is. I do exactly. Especially my age, dude. If you're my age, okay. If you're my age, I don't care what anyone says. You started, I did, whatever, dude. Look, we all started with Hulk Hogan, okay?
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, let's just be real. We all our first heavyweight champion was Hulk Hogan. And then later on when we got older, we started finding little DVDs that had UFC on it. you know what I mean, or whatever, you know. But no, I played it all. You know, I got to wrestle with Brooklyn Brawler in my hometown.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know, right? I swear that's still a highlight of my life. Um, you know, I've done jiu-jitsu tournaments. I've done amateur boxing. I played it all, and you know, with pro wrestling, which I still like pro wrestling now. It was just like the backstage is so chill because we're all, you know, what I mean, like, and I mean, hopefully I'm not burying anything, but you know, like backstage of an MMA show, we're all angry and hungry.
Oh
Weight.
yeah.
We're about to beat each other's asses. But then backstage, we're eating popcorn. Like, backstage of a wrestling show, we're eating popcorn, eating candy, shaking hands. I remember that's one thing I was surprised about. I'm like, oh, wow. Like, it's like, you know, I was so worried. And I'm like, you know, because I'm like, you know, like I was in MMA mode, especially since I'm playing myself, you know what I mean, when I was doing my MMA game. I mean, doing my pro wrestling gimmick. But then I go backstage, I'm like shadow boxing in the corner and shit. And everyone's like chill out, you got loose. You know what I mean? Like, you got loosen up, you know what I mean? And all that good stuff. I'm like, I'm so used to more of an intense atmosphere.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the things that I have always thought, and I love talking to guys like you who they've done wrestling, they've done, you know, the legitimate fighting stuff, whether it's boxing, bare knuckle, MMA, whatever. I get around some of these because I've been a huge pro wrestling mark for frickin' years, and I get around these, you know, like you were saying, pro wrestling guy. Everybody wanted to grow up and be Hulk Hogan, and
Right.
now all these fighter guys, they want to grow up and be Conor McGregor.
Right.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing, and I, you know, like what people don't realize too is that MMA's modern prime right now. It's like right now, and we're just too busy comparing a lot of things that just don't really need to be compared. You know, I mean, that's just my honest opinion. You know, the Floyd Mayweathers, the Conor McGregors. Oh, Conor McGregor is bigger than MMA than Floyd Mayweather has been in boxing. I said, but boxing's so much older, man. Like boxing has so much more of a history than MMA. But now people don't want to realize that. You know, I mean, MMA is still young. You know, what I mean, like the prime of MMA is still 16 years old. You know, what I mean,
yes,
like, that was Stephen Bonner and Forrest Griffin. That's the one. That was our pop. And and I respect that pop because I was there watching it live on Spike TV myself, and I was like, whoa, that's the stuff that makes me want to have fights like that.
That's right. That's right.
That was the fight, Stephen Bonner and Forrest Griffin. You know what I mean? Like, and ever since then, that was only 16 years ago, guys. Yeah, I mean, so just note that, Conor is MMA right now because, we're only about 16 years old.
Yeah.
And like, boxing, I mean, it's going to be hard to be boxing's a hard one to try to be the best. I mean, the overcome right now because it's so old. Yeah. I mean, like it has so much history. There's so much. There's just so much back. I mean, like there's people who are fighting out of jail. You know what I mean? Like, they were in jail. They were doing life. You know what I mean? And they were doing boxing shows and, in jail, in prison. So, I mean, like, like MMA doesn't have that yet. So, there's just but it's so beautiful though. Yeah. I mean, even the diversity, the back and forth, it's just a beautiful thing. We're in a great time for combat sports. And I think that we can all eat.
Yes.
I mean, like pro wrestling, bare knuckle, MMA, boxing, jiu-jitsu, we got, jiu-jitsu's coming up, man. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, I'll tell you. I was having a conversation with we threw a smoker fight last weekend here locally, and I was talking with one of the coaches from one of the schools at that show, and we were talking about all the different things going on, and I was like, a jiu-jitsu tournament, that is the best way to make some quick cash.
Right.
Because you got all these guys, and this is what I always think is so funny is that they do the early registration. And if you sign up early, you get a free T-shirt. And I'm like,
Right.
what's it take? I go down to some print shop, print up a whole bunch of T-shirts at $20 a shirt. I turn around and do my early registration at $400, throw in a free T-shirt. These jiu-jitsu marks are like, gotta get that T-shirt.
Right.
So, it's just crazy. One of the things that I think is great about you, like I said, is that you've done a little bit of everything. So you know that when we're doing the bare knuckle, we gotta have a little bit of entertainment. It's not just guys going out with, bare fists beating each other into an oblivion. You gotta be entertaining. You gotta bring some of that pro wrestling stuff in there. You gotta bring some of that realness stuff from the MMA, and you've got to do. It's got to be entertaining.
Right. And that's so true. And that's what I mean. Pretty soon we'll see what happens with with my bare knuckle career when it comes to the flashy stuff. But right now, only thing I'm going to do is try to bring the entertainment into the ring right now because we're such a sport. And that's what we need right now. We need the bangers. We need great fights to for the sport to keep evolving. And then like I said, we can all eat. We're going to have so many different gimmicks that are going to come in and out. But my gimmick's going to be what I bring into the ring every time. And then, we'll see what happens. We'll see what we can fabricate. So,
well, with this show coming up, I know that you guys are selling, and we're gonna put some information up here so people can get basically your referral link. But basically, the people that are not able to see this live can get on the BKFC app and essentially, help you. Help support you by buying it through your link, essentially.
Yeah, I totally appreciate it, man. Anyone who participates in that, I appreciate it. Yeah, go ahead and grab that link, and and watch us bang it out. Me and Doolittle, we're gonna probably steal this show. If Julian Lane doesn't.
So once this is all over with, what is next for you? Like do you have? Are you fighting on like a fight by fight basis, or do you have like a deal? How does that work in bare knuckle? Because I know like with UFC and Bellator, they sign you up for like 5 fights, or like in pro wrestling, you're there for a year or two.
Yeah, pro wrestling there for a year. Some people get multi-fight contracts. I just wait for the call.
That's cool.
Yeah, man.
That's cool.
Yeah, which I like. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm not gonna promise anything. It's all about just what how the fight goes, and and if injuries and things like that. And if everything's clear, you might see me again soon. If not, I might go on vacation.
That's awesome. Hey, at least you're honest, baby.
Yeah, I might go on vacation. Just for a week. I'm not gonna say like a year or something like that. I may go for a week when I don't have to do anything. But be an uncle. Yeah, because there's such a neglect to regular life, to this lifestyle. So I gotta be an uncle. I gotta be a brother. So and I gotta be I gotta be a son. So I gotta do that stuff and then and just collect. I do run a business called the Multiverse FC, which I just do personal training, and
that's cool. That's really cool.
Put some stuff together. Catch up on some AEW, catch up on some WWE, and
that's right.
Spider-Man, and and then if they give me a call, they got something good for me. I'm always down. I love fighting, so I love working. I'm a workaholic. So.
Well, I think that's awesome that you're out there doing your thing, and I guess the last thing I'll touch with you on is you brought it up, and I was getting ready to, but AEW and WWE, this,
Beautiful.
I think Tony's got some money to burn, and I've heard rumors that Vince and them are just gonna let him spend his way out of it, and I'm like, I don't think he's going to spend his way out of it. I think he's because I was watching that. We went and covered the band Hemlock was on tour, and we went and covered Hemlock yesterday, and then I came back here, and while I was editing video, I was watching that show from last night, AEW, and I'm like, I don't think they're gonna just spin themselves into oblivion.
No, I think they're in it, baby. I think they're in it. They got a good. I mean, like, it's about time. I think it's good for everybody. Honestly, it's so great for everybody. You know, WWE was by themselves for a really long time.
Yeah.
And now they have some competition, and I think it's beautiful competition. I love all the wrestlers in AEW. When Adam Cole debuted, oh my God, I love his new theme song. You know, Bryan Danielson, you know, CM Punk.
Oh yeah, my only real issue with AEW, and I think it's just since I'm such an old school pro wrestling guy, it's the hot shotting. Why did you do Daniel Bryan, Adam Cole within the same span on the same show? I'm like, man, I would have waited a week.
Right. You know, you like to build. You like to build up. You know what I mean? Like, we all like a build up, and you know, both programs have their own flaws. You know what I mean?
Because like Roman and Brock gonna go at it over in Saudi. I'm like, that's a WrestleMania match.
Right. You know, and then I mean, like, they got Fish over there. They got Fish over there now too, and I loved him in NXT, and you know what I mean, and they're throwing him in there with Bryan Danielson and stuff.
Oh
like
yeah.
that. I'm like, now we can build up this.
They did the Suzuki thing the first night. The next night they do Fish. I'm like, oh God, you could have built this stuff for pay-per-view.
Right, we're still talking this up like fans, but I mean, like, they have a plan, and you know what I mean?
Well,
like,
that too, and that's the thing that I'm sure people, you know, do that with bare knuckle and with UFC and stuff, where they're like, well, my God, you're hot-shotting some of this stuff. And it's like, no, these guys know what they're doing.
And so just let them do what they do. You know what I mean? Like, I like, since now I'm like, I'm having a hard time not being a fan. You know what I mean? Even in, like, I'm co-main event a BKFC show, but I still feel like a fan in my heart. You know what I mean? Like, the last show, like 2 shows ago, Melvin Gallard's in the same locker room as me, and I'm like, dude, I grew up watching this guy. You know what I mean? But, you know, and so I'm like, I still have that. I have that time. You know what I mean? Where I'm just like, okay, I'm in. You know, I'm in the game too, Jay. Like you with Jay Jackson. But it's, you know,
Jay Jackson, baby.
So when Jay Jackson, baby, I fucking love that dude. So I'm not even kidding. So, like, I try to, like, now when I'm watching pro wrestling, I try not to do so much digging. And I'm just like, they got a plan. They'll figure. You know what I mean? Let them do what they do.
I always fall into, as Jim Ross likes to say, rebooking the territory. I fall into that a lot because, like last night I'm watching that and I'm like, you could have built this Daniel Bryan, Bobby Fish thing. You gotta. You know, you gotta. Why are we giving? You know, like with Suzuki and Bryan, I'm like, why wasn't that on the actual show, not on their YouTube shit? You know, and it just.
Right.
And I get it. They've got goals. I think honestly.
You got to get the viewers in the YouTube.
Yeah.
You got to get viewers on TBS. You got to get the viewers in. You know what I mean? Like it's you know what I mean? They'll work it out. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, I'm just gonna watch and see, and I'm just gonna try to watch it as a fan. You know what I mean? And I love, like I said, like, you know what I mean? But that's why you love pro wrestling talk, because it's just like, man, like, he could have been doing this, he could have been doing that, and all of a sudden, before you know it, you know, we'll get a surprise debut. I mean, we get a prize debut from like a Bray Wyatt or something like that. That's what
I am really hoping that Vince didn't renew the license or whatever on one of these songs that Bray Wyatt had, and Tony goes in and swoops it up, then all of a sudden that's what they used to debut him with. They'd blow the fucking roof off that building.
Dude, oh my God, you see the whole stadium light up with cell phone lights. Oh my God, we'll cry. Oh my God, man, I'll fucking cry. I mean, like, it's just like it was already like I know like everyone had that Brian, Daniel Bryan's debut was a big pop. I was shocked about Cole. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
like, wow, 'cause that was such
Yeah.
a quick turnaround. That was so quick. But I'm like, hey, you know what I mean? Like they got him. So
No wonder Triple H had a heart attack. no wonder he was in the hospital there for a little bit. I don't know if you've seen that meme going around where where he wakes up and they're like, "You've been out for a couple days." And he's like, "Oh, I can't get back. I can't wait to get back to Adam Cole and the boys in NXT."
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's quite the deal. But if you want to get for our radio listeners, referral.barenukle.tv/JAY if you want to help support our guest today, Jay Jackson. Get the BK TV app. He's got his next fight coming up this weekend. And also other events throughout the year. The BKFC app has a ton of not just bare knuckle shows. It's got literally everything you can think of. That
Bare knuckle MMA now.
Yeah,
so
it's
they're
good
taking the
stuff,
gloves off
man.
too. So it's gonna be crazy. Yeah, man. Like I said, we're just evolving, man. We're gonna be in Russia soon. We're gonna be in Thailand soon. It's gonna be awesome. I cannot wait.
Oh, Russia is gonna love the fuck out of bare knuckle.
Russia's gonna love it.
Yes. Well, Jay, this has been an honor and a privilege, and good luck with the show, my friend. And I will talk to you soon. Thanks for doing this, man.
Hey, no problem. Thank you guys for having me.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Jay. There he goes. That is Jay Jackson, and he joins us today here on our big program. And if you want to get a hold of us online, you can do so at JiggyJaguar.com. And we are going to go to our next guest here in just a few moments, but we have to take a quick time out here. And when we come back, we have got more coming up on the other side. New marketing partner with us today at Transmedia Worldwide. This is fantastic. Check out Dolls